Welcome to the RealTrending podcast, where we speak to the brightest minds in real estate about leadership, growth, trends, and strategy. I'm your host, Tracey Velt. I'm the Senior Director of Data and Content for HousingWire and RealTrends. And today I'd like to welcome Will Holmes. He's the Head of Partnerships for Opendoor. And he's going to share a little bit about their Zillow partnership and some of the things happening in the iBuyer landscape today. So welcome, Will.
Wonderful. Thanks a lot for having me, Tracey.
Yeah, so you have a different position now. So tell me a little bit about what you're doing for Opendoor.
Sure. So I'm now the head of partnerships for Opendoor. I was formerly the head of our agent partnerships channel, but my role has expanded to include oversight over our home builder partnerships, our search portal partnerships, which Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com, as well as our agent partnerships at the company where we partner with thousands of agents and hundreds of brokerages across the country in bringing a cash offer solution to their customers. So
great. And I know that you've partnered with Zillow for some time, and you recently changed expanded the benefits for agents. So I know that our audience they fully understand Opendoor and Zillow, but they're interested in learning more about like what that program is and really how it impacts them. It's brokerage leaders and team leaders and agents who are listening. So talk to me a little bit about the program and how it's going now since the inception of it.
Yeah, so let's start with the agent partnerships first and foremost. So we actually launched our Opendoor for Agents program back in 2017. So it's actually not new.
Yeah.
We have recently announced some different improvements and progressions in our program. But again, like what that essentially does is allows agents to bring all the various options to their listing appointments for their clients to consider. Not just the traditional process, which unfortunately doesn't serve every client's pain points and needs, but a cash offer, which we're finding is very attractive for agents to work with a broader swath of clients. Yeah, and so as part of that, we have a number of different ways that we partner with agents. We have an agent loyalty program, which we call Agent Access, which rewards agents for doing repeat transactions with Opendoor. And we're really excited about the progress we've made on that front. We've seen a 9 times increase in the past 4 years in terms of agents doing multiple transactions with us, representing sellers. And then we also provide a per transaction commission, again, from the buy side, Opendoor, to the listing agent as an acknowledgement of the contribution that agent provides in that process. So that's the agent partnership program in a nutshell. It's actually our largest partnership channel at Opendoor, and we're really, really excited about that. As it relates to Zillow, last year we struck a partnership with Zillow, where Zillow and Opendoor, as we learned through the process of coming together and locking arms, both share this vision of empowering people to transact more with ease and with confidence. And so Opendoor provides Zillow the opportunity to reach customers in all the over 50 markets in which we operate with an additional solution to unlock their ability to move. So again, 99% of real estate happens offline today, and Zillow and Opendoor are working together and collaborating on making sure that all the options are available to a consumer and their representative and their agent, so they can make a really informed decision that kind of supports their needs and their lifestyles.
And obviously the real estate market has changed, and that's impacted Opendoor. You've made some, you've had to adjust to all of that and made some changes. And of course, the iBuyer model is always under fire, as you well know, especially when a market changes like this. So tell me how the company has adjusted to that and what your growth plan is moving forward. I think consumers are asking for different options, and it's one more option.
Absolutely.
So talk to me a little bit about your adjustments and your growth plan moving forward in this market.
Yeah. So again, one of the things I love working about with Opendoor, and I don't think that this will ever change, is really this focused on kind of consumer pain points and understanding what clients for agents what home builder customers, what consumers, searching on the internet as it relates to my role at partnerships need. And we've seen a phenomenal uptake in what we call product market fit about this particular solution for clients. And as a result of that, obviously we've been able to make quite of a impression on the market. So in 2022, as we all know, there was the steepest, kind of fastest increase in the Fed's interest rates rising in the past 40 years. That resulted in, home affordability, constrained somewhere in the range of like 40%, and that doubling of mortgage rates has really kind of had an impact on that. So what I think for us, it's really kind of understanding what buyers and sellers are looking for. And with this economic uncertainty, they're oftentimes turning to their agents and brokerages and teams to help navigate the uncertainty in the market, and looking for a trusted advisor to provide them that kind of strategic advice for what they need to do to get from point A to point B. And we're really, really excited about working with the agent and brokerage and teams all across the country, and kind of serving their clients better.
And so what do you want brokers to know? Because I feel like, I've been in the industry for a long time.
Sure.
And there's always this big disruptor. They're trying to disintermediate the agent. And I've seen a change with that. I've seen more of like realizing that they have to partner with the agent and broker. So what do you want to say to brokers to help them understand kind of the benefits that an iBuyer can offer their agents and the consumers their agents work with? Why a lot of them embrace obviously the iBuyer model, but what to the naysayers out there who aren't sure whether to embrace the model or not, what do you have to say to them? Why should they do it?
Yeah, I mean, I obviously confront that question quite a bit, and I travel around the country for the last several years in my role at leading our agent program, and also as head of partnerships of the company, doing a listening tour, listening to feedback from teams, from agents, from brokers around what their pain points are, and where Opendoor can help solve their needs. And what I found is that agents have for too long showed up with the traditional option, which they acknowledge has not been something that serves all their particular clients' needs. And so I think there's a phenomenal opportunity to really innovate the housing space, and Opendoor is kind of leading that change. So that ability to marry technology with that customer-centric, belief that agents have, to really kind of come up with an incredible value proposition. So, I've spoken with agents that have clients that are elderly, they can't do showings. Well, Opendoor provides a need for that sort of a client that may have that. I've worked with agents that are trying to navigate what could potentially be a double move. Someone moving from, relocating in the military from Jacksonville to San Antonio, and wanting to make sure that the home sale in Jacksonville is certain and goes through and doesn't have a fall through risk. Well, Opendoor, as being the most formidable cash buyer in the country, can provide certainty in the transaction there. The control of moving closing dates to align with a client's need, so that they can have new construction. Maybe there's a couple week delay, as we saw with the supply chain the last few years. So we're seeing. Actually, these are all coming. A lot of times, they're coming from agents that are coming up with creative, innovative ideas to service a broader customer base. And I think they're looking to their team leaders, and they're looking to their brokers to provide some additional context, some subject matter expertise to help point them in the right direction of what tools are at their disposal to serve their clients better in a more efficient way that propels their businesses forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really feel like a market like today, it's a great market for growth and innovation, tech innovation and business model innovation, across the real estate spectrum. So, what are some of the kind of initiatives that Opendoor is taking? What are you, embracing right now? Where are you innovating, or what are you seeing in the industry in general that is really interesting, maybe coming down the pipe?
Yeah, so from Open Doors perspective, as I said, in our partnership with agents, providing them more transparency into the transaction. We just launched a referral program, so agents no longer have to represent their seller to Open Door. Let's say they're an agent in Dallas and their client's moving from Denver, they're not licensed there. Well, the same process if that person was moving from Denton to Dallas is the same process with Open Door as moving from Denver to Dallas, and so they can refer their seller to Opendoor, follow along in that that experience with that seller selling to Opendoor, so they can represent them on the buy side, say in Dallas, as for instance. So we're really seeing a kind of a merging of technology providing transparency, visibility, ownership over like control of making sure that the client's needs are particularly met, and that the agent is the hero in delivering a really kind of elevated and phenomenal lasting experience. And so we're really pumped about that.
So, what are you seeing industry wide? I keep hearing a lot about artificial intelligence, which of course has been, kind of embedded into a lot of different real estate technology already. But
Yeah,
with Chat GPT, it's really come to the forefront of like
sure.
the possibilities of it. So, is Opendoor considering anything, any initiatives with that, or what are your thoughts on just artificial intelligence in general as it pertains to real estate?
Sure. Well, let me preface it by saying I'm not a technologist myself. I'm not an
Yeah.
engineer. I work in business development and partnerships. So I'll kind of look at it from the perspective that I see it in my seat. And so I think what we've seen in real estate over the years is this probably rightful acknowledgement and some trepidation about technology and the term you used a bit earlier was disruption. Um, I like to use the term kind of propulsion and leverage in the transaction for agents. And so you kind of think about like some things that I don't know what will happen as it relates to Chat GPT or as it results to AI and how that's going to influence and impact real estate going forward. The only thing I do know is I could point back to a few things along over the years. Digital signing of documents, right? There was a time where that was considered threatening to a lot of real estate practitioners because
Yeah.
they thought there was true value in getting a wet signature on a document. Well, today
Yeah.
that's just like commonplace, right? Online map based search, right? Yeah, I don't think the value is actually like finding a home on a particular map. The value is really on delivering value in between the transaction, providing strategic advice. And then the last one we saw, coming during the COVID era was kind of self-showing home tours, and that ability for agents to set up an appointment, allow a client to view a home, but then help where they really could provide a tremendous amount of value, which is in negotiation and through the inspection process, through making sure that the client felt comfortable in it. So those are three instances where I think initially there was probably some concern, but the real estate community is fully embraced all three of those, and I don't think any agent or broker or team leader would look back on any of those three things and say that wasn't a net beneficiary. And I actually think that that's what we're finding with Opendoor is I think that there was some concern, early on about kind of what was our objectives, what was our end goal here. But as you're seeing, kind of with actions speak louder than words, we've got a team of 25 folks that are focused on solving the needs of our agent and brokerage partners. And I think we're really putting proof in the pudding on where we're developing putting our time and our efforts. So.
Hi, I'm McKenna Clay, Events and Programs Specialist here at HW Media, and I am here to invite you today to our next event this summer. You might be wondering, how do you build a resilient brokerage, or how are execs at companies like Remax and Keller Williams being strategic? Well, you can learn from the greatest minds in real estate at this year's Gathering of Eagles event. Join us in Austin, Texas, June 18th through 21st as we bring together the most elite brokerage, association, and team leaders, C-suite leaders, and top producing agents to grow, network, and really set the pace for what's next in our industry. As a valued podcast listener, we're offering 25% off the event just for you. Use the code podcast23 on the events page on realtrends.com. Again, that is podcast23, and we can't wait to see you in Austin.
It's funny to me, like there really isn't anything new in real estate. Like even the iBuyer model, I mean, it's been done, not the same, but like there's assist to sell, some of those that have kind of, they don't call it an iBuyer model, but it's similar, same with a lot of the financing, the bridge loans and things like that. It's just a new way of doing it. And I feel like people do kind of react like, oh my gosh, what is this? Because it's packaged in a different way and it is different. I mean, obviously Opendoor has a different strategy than like an assist to sell. You're not looking for homes that need to be remodeled, or you're looking for a different type of solution for home buyers and that. But it's really interesting just being in the industry for so long. I see a lot of benefits in artificial intelligence in certain areas. In certain areas, I'm a little leery of them. But when you're talking about, even something as simple as pricing a home through Opendoor and your algorithm and that, how AI could really, help that eventually even, make it more accurate and more accurate through machine learning. So
yeah, I really do believe this is about like democratization of tools.
Yeah.
And providing, you mentioned that cash offers have been around, for a very long time. And I think what Opendoor has done is kind of bring some kind of structure and some expectations and some really brought to the forefront some of the value that can bring. And we're allowing, again, industry participants to leverage and build their capabilities on top of it. Where they may not have, a large engineering team and product developers to come up with different things, but still being able to like leverage those tools to serve their clients. Because again, agents, home builder sales associates, loan officers, they provide a tremendous amount of benefit, and they're very key to making real estate be fluid and fire properly. And so I think it's just it's a real testament, I think, to the industry that we can collaborate across respective skill sets and value propositions to come up with a better outcome for the consumer.
Yeah, it's another option. I, as a consumer, like to have a lot of different options, especially when selling a home. It's nice to know that you can unload it quickly if you need to. So.
Sure. Yeah. I would say I was talking about like golf. Golf. I use a golf club analogy oftentimes when I'm talking to, one of those team leaders or agents that initially are skeptical. It's, if you go to the golf course and you say, "Hey, I got to play one club in my bag, and I expect to score really well." Well, what happens when you're a little bit closer to the green and you need a different sort of shot? Wouldn't you like to have a couple extra clubs in your bag? I think the traditional real estate process, again, it's phenomenal for most, but it's not the solution for all. And there are customers and clients out there that need something delivered that's specific to them. And I'm glad that Opendoor is able to kind of serve that need.
Yeah, it's kind of the way the country is going in general, is just having as many options as possible in all different ways. So yeah. So I wanted to talk about opportunity and just based on, you're out there, like you said, talking to brokers, talking to agents, talking to team leaders. What are you seeing out there for brokers, or agents or teams? Where do you see opportunity for them in this market? I like to kind of shine a brighter light on the opportunities that are out there for anyone who wants to take them. So what are you seeing out there?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was much of what we've been speaking about throughout this podcast is positioning your team members and agents as subject matter experts, solution oriented for clients' needs and overcoming objections. I don't think in 2023 there's so many tools that are at the disposal of brokerages and team leaders and agents. I don't think there's a reason at this point to not have a full suite of options available for every flavor or situation that a client requires. And so I think the opportunity is differentiating your team, your offering, your brokerage with being the full suite of solutions, so that a consumer doesn't have to go and navigate all the respective options themselves. They can turn to a professional. They can turn to someone who has experience working through, has a track record that can help them, with the right thing, the right outcome, or the right solution for the outcome in which they need. So I really think it comes down to kind of feel confident, having a track record and understanding all the respective, tools of the trade, so to speak, to make it so that consumers only have to turn to one place as opposed to turning to a myriad of places to buy or sell their house.
Yeah, I mean, really, that's brokerage in a nutshell today, honestly. I mean, with margin compression, really Opendoor could be just another affiliated service that they use along with title, mortgage, everything in between to boost margins as well, because or to be more profitable, because the margin compression is real in the residential real estate industry.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely believe that an Opendoor transaction is probably the most efficient and streamlined transaction that an agent can have. We do a lot of the heavy lifting on our end with the technology in which we've built. But the point that the agent can play a very valuable role is the advisory and the solutions oriented approach of saying, hey, as I said earlier, I did a listening tour where we came up with some of the recent announcements that we've had around progress around our Opendoor for agents. I think agents can do, team leaders can do a lot better in terms of listening to clients' needs and coming up with a solution that specifically meets what that client is looking for. And therefore, they can expand their reach. They can expand their servicing offerings, and then work with consumers on a number of different surface areas, as opposed to just on one particular avenue. So I absolutely believe that there's a way of positioning the offering that a brokerage has as being the potpourri of offerings that are available.
My next question is just kind of an overall, like the real estate industry changes quickly, whether it's the market or the industry itself, even though nothing is new, but everything is new, right? So is there anything that you see coming down the pipe that may change the way you operate now, or might cause you to add services or anything through Opendoor?
Yeah, I mean, as it relates to the partnerships team at Opendoor, I would see us probably expanding to work with additional channels beyond agents, home builders, and online search portals. So lenders, home improvement, retirement communities, all these respective spots that have customer needs that we don't believe are that the traditional process is all that responsive to. And obviously with all that's going on right now, it's quite an uncertain market. And so what we've been talking about is that at Opendoor is a lot is around certainty. I was, last year I did a talk in Las Vegas, and this was around, I think it's around July or August. And I asked the agents in the room, how many of their clients had a fall through, or how many of those agents had a fall through, and every hand was up. Something to the degree of like 25% of homes are falling out of contract because mortgage rates when they started shopping looked a lot differently than when they actually identified their particular home. So for us, certainty is a big value proposition for us. Once you're in contract with Opendoor, that's a contract that's going to close, and so that actually has had a tremendous take up from agents, particularly those folks that are selling in one place, buying in another place, and need to make sure that their contingency doesn't fall through. And so I see it in this uncertain time, certainty playing a bigger role. And so those companies that can lean into that as a value proposition, to provide as close to a surefire solution as possible, are the ones that are going to be gaining market share in this climate.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I should mention that will be at the Gathering of Eagles in June in Austin,
Yes.
Texas. So you can come and hear him speak more on the iBuyer landscape, and we're looking forward to that.
Wonderful. Yeah, Tracey, I really appreciate the opportunity to speak with you here, and as well as at Gathering of the Eagles. And again, we just want to make sure that consumers have a solution that best meets their needs, and we oftentimes realize that's with a realtor and an agent kind of shepherding them through the process. And we're going to continue to focus on the customer. We know agents have a maniacal focus on that, and meeting sellers and buyers where they want to transact. And we're really, really looking forward to partnering with more and more as the years go on.
Well, Will, thank you so much for joining the RealTrending podcast. We appreciate you being here.
All right, sounds good. Thanks a lot, Tracey. Talk soon.